Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the 3 Yards in a Cloud of Dust NFL podcast. I'm your host, Josh, and with me, as always, my co host, Jonathan.
Hi, guys.
So, we got quite a bit to go through from the last couple of weeks.
And it's definitely been a long couple weeks.
Yeah, some major things have happened around the league.
We stopped with nothing going on, and then this last week, whoa.
Yeah, it just seems like everything's. I mean, we kind of expected it. We've got the preseason in a couple of weeks, maybe a little over a month to go. So things are going to happen right now.
Yep.
You're going to see a lot of. Unfortunately, you are going to see a lot of injuries happen right now because it happens every year. It's just, unfortunately, when it's a violent game like football, it's a thing that happens, and that actually leads us into our first article of news.
Well, Rams running back Cam Akers will miss the entire 2021 season after suffering a torn Achilles.
Yeah, and that's devastating for the Rams.
Yeah, because they're big on the running game, and he's a big asset to that team.
Well, that and he had such a promising rookie season last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's literally the guy they were counting on to replace Todd Gurley.
And now,
now they have to wait a whole nother year for that. And then the question is, with an injury like a torn Achilles, is he going to come back as the same player?
But it's also it's like if he does come back as the same player, it's better to get that injury out of the way now too.
Well, yeah.
Because it would be easier for him to recover now than him being 32, 33.
Yeah, that's true.
So because he'll heal up a little bit better than someone around that age.
Yep. And next up we have wide receiver and human highlight machine Ted Ginn Jr. has retired from the NFL after 14 seasons. Known as a prolific kick returner early in his career, and throughout his career for that fact, he began to develop into a solid pass catcher later on in his career during his second stint with the Carolina Panthers. But one of his all-time greatest highlights comes from early on during his stint with Miami, where he returned 2 100-plus yard kicks for touchdowns against the Jets on back-to-back kickoffs.
And that one was a fun one to watch. I do remember watching that one.
Yeah,
and
it was a long time ago, but yeah, it's one of those things that just kind of sticks with you.
Yeah, and there was a YouTube video on it, and you guys, if you want to watch it, please go and watch it after this. And it is definitely a exciting one.
Oh, yeah, and he played for several different teams throughout his career. Obviously, he started his career in Miami. Then he jumped over to Carolina, went to Arizona, and then went back to – or no, sorry, not after he went Miami to San Francisco. He went to the Niners. Then he went to Carolina, then went to Arizona, then came back to Carolina, ended up with Saints for a few years where he got to play with Drew Brees, made several highlight catches for Drew.
And I think that was probably fun, not only for Drew, but also for Ted, because now you have two big names doing it together.
And then, of course, he spent last year with the Bears, and that's where he ended his career. But here's a breakdown of his stats for his career. He ends his career with 412 receptions, with 5,742 receiving yards and 33 receiving touchdowns. 486 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 9,523 return yards with 7 return TDs. Now, a lot of people are probably going to say, well, 7 TDs, that's not much. It's 7 return TDs.
Yeah, and
that's difficult for even the best of them to do, and he did 7 of them throughout. That's basically one every other year, but we know he had several within 1 year.
Yeah, and basically being able to do that, you not only have to have the agility to do it, but you also need the speed on top of it, and that is really hard to come by. And he had it for so long.
Yeah.
He had both of those combined.
Well, early on in his career, he had a big drop issue as a wide receiver. He would drop wide open passes like nobody's business.
Yeah, he had no hands. But it's like the thing.
But as he started to kind of he never really slowed down. He always kind of maintained his speed, which is something you really don't see in a lot of wide receivers. You really do see them kind of drop off over time, but that's not something that really ever happened for Ted Ginn. But as he aged in his career, he began to develop into a more solid catching wide receiver, and that's why you see the number of his receiving touchdowns skyrocket within the last 5 years of his career.
Yeah, and for him, it was just the fact that he needed to get older and long to actually be able to know where the ball was going to be coming and be able to actually make those catches
Yeah.
that he couldn't do at the beginning of his career. But he did a lot of effort on the other side of the ball on that special teams.
Yeah, yeah. Although he didn't get used as much on the special teams when he went over to New Orleans, he was primarily just used as a wide receiver.
Because he was a big guy who they could hit with who had really good speed, and they had to adapt him into that.
But we want to end that with saying thank you, Ted, for the amazing career and the highlights that you gave us, and we wish you best of luck in your next endeavors.
Exactly. Good luck. In our next set of news, former Chargers linebacker Melvin Ingram has signed a one-year deal with the Steelers worth $4 million. He does have, it is a five year, but the next 4 years are voidable. But this year is just over $1 million, and he did get just under a $3 million signing bonus.
Yeah. And a lot of people were speculating where Ingram was going to land, especially after leaving the Chargers. So this was kind of interesting to see. Great for Melvin Ingram. He gets to join a really good defense.
With J.J. Watt?
T.J. Watt.
T.J. Thank you.
J.J.'s with the Cardinals.
Yes, thank you. They both have a J. It's confusing.
Yeah. Well, he gets to play with two of the Watt brothers because Derek's there as well as the fullback.
Oh,
as
yeah.
the fullback. But to me, this is more of the Steelers just signing a kind of like a bit piece. He's not there to be a star of the defense. He can really help out. I know he can. He's been an impact player for the Chargers for years. So I have no doubt that he will make an impact for the Steelers when he's on the field. It's just a matter of can he stay healthy, because that's been his issue for years. He's been injury prone. He's missed a lot of time with the Steelers due to those injuries. I'm with the Chargers, sorry.
You're good. But with the Steelers, they do have a really good medical team who has been able to bring a lot of people back to full health extremely quick.
Yeah.
So they do have that advantage to them.
Yeah. But like I said, he is still a solid piece. He can bring a lot to the game still. So this is a good signing for the Steelers all around.
Yeah, I agree.
And next up we have the 49ers linebacker Fred Warner has signed a 5-year, $95 million extension, making him the highest paid linebacker in the league. That is a shit ton of money for a linebacker.
Oh yeah, because linebackers don't get paid that much.
No.
They really don't.
They don't. Like, oh my God. I cannot. When I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, is this right? Is this bullshit? But, I mean, he plays exceptionally well. He's definitely one of the best linebackers out there.
He's almost averaging $19 million a year.
Yeah. That's insane. Now, obviously, I don't know how much of that is actually incentive-based. It didn't really give a breakdown in what I looked up.
It doesn't matter.
That's Patrick Mahomes money.
Yeah. No, actually, Patrick Mahomes is over $100 million at this point.
Well, yeah, but his is also a 10-year contract.
Yes. I think
crap.
Patrick Mahomes is $160 million for 10 years. It was something to that effect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It was a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
For a fucking 25-year-old.
Yeah. But, I mean, hey, I guess if you really, if you got the money to spend, considering they're not paying that money to Jimmy Garoppolo because he didn't do good enough the last couple of years.
Nope.
except for leading them to the Super Bowl, but losing to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And then of course they just drafted Trey Lance, but it's not looking like he's going to start right away this year because as other news that came out of San Francisco was that Kyle Shanahan said that there's absolutely no competition going for the quarterback position right now. Nope. It is Garoppolo's team, though they do have plans to install Lance possibly by the beginning of next year. Right now, it is Garoppolo's team.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Jesus criminy, that is a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
For 5 years, too. Oh, my goodness. Like, I don't know. I don't know if the Niners overpaid or if Fred Warner just got away with a steal, but damn.
That's insane.
Yeah. But like I said, he's a top-of-the-line linebacker. So, as long as he sits there and keeps putting out the way he's been putting out, then I guess he'll find a way to earn that money. Although, I don't know if you can really say anybody deserves $95 million.
For how well he's been playing, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. And our next set of news is with Davante Adams, star wideout for the Packers, has cut off contract extension talks with the team.
And that's big.
Oh, yeah.
With everything that's been going on with the Aaron Rodgers stuff in Green Bay, this is huge because this basically says that he's not happy with what's going on there either and that he wants out. And with everything that's, with the recent news of Derek Carr saying that he is going to full-on recruit him out of free agency over to the Raiders next year, I mean, it lends a little more credence that could actually happen.
Oh, yeah, and that, I'm sorry, if I was in Davante Adams' shoes too, yeah, I would want out too, but I would be done with it.
Yeah, and that actually leads into our next piece of news, and it actually concerns Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
So he and Green Bay have actually come to terms on a new deal that would solidify him as the number one quarterback for the team this year. It's a 3-year deal, so he gets his money for this year. There is the option. Basically, it's the contract is set up to where he can be traded next year away from the team. But now the deal is also good through 2023, but that 23 year can be voided by Green Bay if they choose. So basically right now the deal is for this year and next year with the ability to have Aaron Rodgers traded next year before the season starts.
So that means the third season is not a player's option, it's a team's option.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and obviously we're seeing a lot of the voids going into contracts. We see that with Melvin Ingram. We saw that earlier with Tom Brady signing his contract extension with the Buccaneers.
Which I highly doubt he'll void any of that. He's gonna keep going.
But here's the thing: right now it's at no risk to the Buccaneers.
Yep.
So if he decides he wants to call it quits, then they can just void his contract, and it's not costing them any extra money, except for however many years he decides to play out of that contract.
Yep, and I'm just gonna throw in one more thing. Damn, I forgot.
The whole thing is, this tells me that Davante Adams sees the writing on the wall.
Yes.
He sees that Aaron Rodgers is very likely not going to be with the team next year, one way or another.
Yep.
So it is a little surprising, and I guess I can't say that I'm necessarily happy because there was just a lot of bullshit that went into the whole Aaron Rodgers situation for the last several months, and it made no sense to begin with. Like,
it got blown out of proportion.
Yeah, but this tells me Davante Adams has had enough. He's done. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. So he's saying, yeah. To me, this is Davante Adams' way of saying, if Aaron's back next year, I'll be back. But if he's not, I'm out of here. And I could see that happening. I could see him negotiating, as soon as they know whether or not Aaron is being traded next year or whether he's retiring or whatever he does, Davante's like, yeah, okay, I'm hitting free agency.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady does go and continue those 2 years and try to also recruit Devontae Adams.
That could happen.
To try just play with the Bucks
but
for
he's
2
got
years.
he's got a lot of great hands over there in Tampa Bay, so I really don't think they need him. Like, obviously anybody would love to have him because it's another weapon.
Well,
It's just the question is, could they afford him, and do they really need him?
my thing is like, Tom Brady's always said he's not gonna leave until the 8th ring, and he is gonna try continue. And since he has those 2 years always set up, he's gonna use them if needed.
Here's the thing. I think there's a time limit on that saying, though. Like, if he doesn't get it within the next 2 to 3 years, I think he's done. He's not going to hang around for another 10 years and try to get the 8th ring.
Oh, no.
It's just not going to happen
Oh, no,
because his
but-
body's not going to handle it.
Oh no, but if he doesn't
Can you imagine a 50-year-old quarterback?
But my thing is like, if he doesn't get this year, he is definitely gonna try to get Devontae Adams to help him get that next ring.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if
That's what I'm saying.
If it takes him the remainder of his contract to try and get that ring, then yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that happening. However, if it goes beyond that contract, then it becomes the question. But we're getting a little off topic because there's still another piece of Packers news.
And the other piece of Packers news was also a trade talk regarding the return of wide receiver Randall Cobbs to the team heading into the 2021 regular season.
Yeah, so from what it sounds like, they're trying to make this deal happen. They are trying to get Randall Cobb back on the team for Aaron.
Yep.
Probably as a piece of saying, to me, this is in case we lose Devontae Adams next year, and then for some reason Aaron decides to stick around, or we decide to keep Aaron around, at least he's got somebody who he's familiar with, and then we can go out in the draft and try and find some more wide receiver help.
Yeah.
But basically at this point, they're admitting that Devontae Adams is at least 95% gone next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, but I can't blame Devontae Adams for this.
No.
I can't blame him at all. So, it is what it is, but it seems like the whole drama surrounding Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers is finally coming to a close because he has basically admitted that he is going to play this year. In our next piece of news, Deshaun Watson has arrived for the Texans training camp, but he has also reiterated his desire to be traded away from the team. It is all news coming out of Houston is that he most likely will not take the field during training camp. But another really kind of interesting thing that is coming out is that the Texans are actually listening to offers for Deshaun Watson. Reports right now is that Philadelphia and Denver are the leading candidates for a trade offer to come through, but the Texans they're asking for quite a bit. The analysts are saying that it's probably going to take 3 first-rounders in order to move Deshaun Watson. And I can't blame him. He's a hell of a talent. He's instantly going to make any team better.
And he's a solid quarterback, and that's why.
Yeah. Honestly, I like Derek Carr. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people have said he is. I've been through that before. But if the Raiders went and traded for Deshaun Watson, I would not be unhappy. I would totally be okay with that.
Oh yeah, and because that would just make the Raiders that much better.
Oh yeah, could you imagine getting Deshaun Watson this year and then signing Devontae Adams next year?
Because we always see that Deshaun Watson can run the ball if needed. He has tremendous accuracy, and he can bomb it with accuracy.
Yeah, because I guarantee you, if the Raiders don't get him, which they probably won't, they're most likely just as happy with Carr as I am, and they realize that it's their problems are not with Derek Carr, and it's the defense that really needs the work, and it does kind of seem like they are trying to make that better, but
it's just
anybody
gonna take
who
a little bit
lands,
extra time.
anybody who lands Deshaun Watson is going to lock him down for years. I guarantee you, minimum, he's going to sign a 5-year deal with someone.
Yeah, and we already know Miami is not going to get him because they already have Tua.
Yeah, they're testing Tua.
And they just drafted his former teammate this last draft. So this definitely that makes Tua that much more with a target.
Yeah, but with the questions behind what's the quarterback in Philly right now? I can't remember his name. I forgot his name. I know we were talking about it a whole bunch when Carson Wentz went to Indianapolis. But anyways, they're saying that Philly is the leading contender for the trade right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, to see whether or not Deshaun gets moved before the start of the season.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Okay, yeah. Sorry about that, Jalen. I apologize for forgetting your name. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Deshaun gets moved before the beginning of the season, or if it happens sometime in the middle of the season, and then at that point too, if they don't trade him away before the beginning of the season, are the Texans going to play him as their starting quarterback? Is he going to be willing to step on the field as the Texans starting quarterback before he gets traded?
And that's what I'm curious about, because it would definitely be something to wonder about, because if he ends up not taking the field, he'll more likely still get traded regardless. If he does play, that will actually make teams want him more.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if he goes out on the field and he just balls out like he does every season, then that's only going to increase his trade value. But I mean, if we don't see him play, like you said, if he sits on the bench, that's just all but confirming that he is going to be traded at some point.
Yep, exactly.
So, in the next piece of news, Dolphins star corner Xavier Howard has officially requested a trade from the team. Stuff started to break down in contract talks several weeks ago, from what I understand. He's not happy with the way the organization is right now. He was actually even threatening to not show up for training camp, but he decided not to in order to avoid being fined. He already suffered some fines earlier this offseason by missing some of the mandatory mini camps. He has shown up to training camp to avoid being fined further, but he is officially requesting a trade away from the Dolphins.
Yeah, and I can see why he would want to trade, and it's like if it doesn't fit him like it was when he originally got there, that would make sense. A lot of players have been doing that.
Yeah.
So this one doesn't really surprise me.
So since you're the Dolphins fan here, does this sound more like a ego move, or should we be looking into something a little deeper? Could there be something a little bit more going on behind the scenes down in Miami that we're not aware of?
I'm pretty sure there's something a little bit more going on with Miami than we can actually see that has not been let out yet. And I think they've been keeping that under wraps for the most part. Well, Howard is basically just like, okay, I'm done. I just want out at this point.
Okay.
So they'll probably look for trades, but he'll probably play a couple of preseason games, but he will probably not play any regular season games until he's traded.
Okay. Do you think he'll be traded before the season starts, or do you think that's going to come during the season?
During the season.
If he gets traded at all.
If he gets traded at all, it will be coming during the regular season, and it will probably be between week 3 and week 6.
Well, that's a shame. It really looked like things were looking up for the Dolphins.
Yeah, but they did always pick up the new wide receiver, so...
Right, but you don't want to trade offense for defense.
No, and...
You always want to improve. You never want to compromise or detract.
Yeah, and unfortunately, what's going on down there, he thinks he just would fit in well anymore, so he wants out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully one way or another we can find out what exactly is going on sooner or later.
And we'll more likely find that out probably after a trade is made.
Yeah.
Because he'll probably come out.
Yeah, definitely.
And a deal that just popped up today, tight end Logan Thomas has agreed to a 3-year extension with the Washington football team. Unfortunately, there was no actual details on that just yet.
Yeah, but after the breakout season he had last year, I'm not surprised. The only thing I'm surprised is that it took this long for them to come to an agreement. Because, I mean, they need all of the solid players they can get right now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they started to really come around last year at the end of the season, but they need that solidity right from the get-go if they want to have any chance at this division this year.
Yeah. So, and...
It is a solid signing.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a solid signing, and it will definitely help them in the long run.
Yeah, if he continues to play the way that he played last year, then more power to Washington.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's about it for all the news we have for the last couple of weeks. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. There most likely won't be an episode next week just because of some work things that are going on. So hopefully we'll be back in 2 weeks. It might end up being a little longer than that. Hopefully not too much, though.
But we will be back after... we will for surely be putting out an episode after week 1 of the preseason.
Yeah. And if you're a new listener to this to the podcast and you liked what you had to hear, please leave us a like down and leave us a subscribe. Leave us a comment. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what exactly you enjoyed, maybe what you didn't enjoy, what we can fix. And for those of you who have had the patience to stick around with us with our massive breaks in between episodes here and there, we really appreciate your support. We hope you'll continue to go with us. And we, like I said, last episode, we've got some news that's coming. We're not quite ready to let it present it just yet, but that is coming, so stay tuned for that. And until the next one, we'll see you later.
Bye.